Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise, and this will be your astrology reading for the week of July 24th through the 30th. And we also have the new moon in Leo this week at 5 degrees, I think. So anyway, let me drop you down over the table here and we'll get going with these charts. Okay, hold on. Okay, so just like we left off on Saturday and Saturday night with the Sun in opposition to Pluto, we still have that going on for the day. Mercury's kind of, well, it's 9 degrees, so it's still a conjunction. So this opposition here, of course, is everything about the J6 hearings. You know, we're in that realm of abuses of power, and with Pluto, and then with Mercury and Leo, maybe there'll be some tapes, you know, some video, audio, whatever, you know, everything to show all of the expression that happened on that day. But even if we just let go of that, personally for us, this would be a day of feeling free to express yourself based on what is either confronting you. Sometimes an opposition can be a confrontation in relationship, or so it can be a relationship, or it can be an area of your life, it can be an aspect of your life where you're confronted to stand up strong with Leo and be in your own authority with Pluto and Capricorn. So that's the best way to handle that energy. Now, the moon is in Gemini still, but we don't have that aspect that I think we had to Pluto last week. So we've got 15 degrees here, and it's a nice sextile over here to Chiron exactly, but I am going to include Jupiter because they're only 8 degrees apart, and, you know, same sign. The energy of Jupiter is so expansive that it's, you know, it goes out so broadly. I'm going to allow a much wider orb there than my program did. So, but anyway, the sextile brings in opportunities. With Gemini and the moon in Gemini, we are gathering information, we are networking, we are talking about things, we're collecting data, we are sifting through data, we are doing all the Gemini things, you know, which is questioning, like I said, learning new things. And the new things are about new discoveries that are coming up. And it can be on many levels, but I would say primarily we're dealing with Chiron here, we're dealing with healing, right? And knowing how much you matter, knowing that you can win, you can create like win-win situations in your life. So there may be opportunities for that with this sextile here. And this could be something that's very deeply healing for us as, you know, as we move through the day. And it would have been an orb, you know, last night too. So, yeah. And then, as always, we have the backdrop. Well, wait, you know what? Actually, before I do that, let's just look at this real quick. It should only take a second. With the semi-square here to the moon and sun, this is we're going to have feelings, thinking in a lot of different directions with Gemini, and then with the semi-square here to the sun and Mercury, that's going to bring in that feeling of the need to say something. Especially if somebody triggers you in your authority, you may have to stand up for yourself based on what you've heard. And this can be like you hear somebody say something verbatim, and you say, wait, do you know what you just said to me? And then you explain what you heard, and then they say, oh, I didn't say that. So you have to be careful. It can be something like that. And of course, if they don't, you know, tell the truth, it's just because it's something that they don't want to admit, and it was like a Freudian slip. Freudian slips abound with this type of energy. But so it's okay. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. You were present. You were there. You know what you heard. And, then just let it go. But that's a possibility for the day. So listen intently and do the healing work, of course, always. Now let's go ahead and, well, actually, I was going to look at, let's do that. Let's look at this nice, my goodness, we have a triple trine. See all these blue lines here? To the Sun and Mercury from Jupiter and Chiron. So that reinforces that ability to stand up for yourself. We're dealing with 2 fire signs here. I mean, that's a lot. And if you need to say something, say it. If you need to stand up for yourself, do it. And it may not be with words coming out of your mouth orally. It may be through the written word with the Moon and Gemini in aspect here, but this is action that is needed to take care of something. And it looks good to me. I would say it would be very healing. There's nothing more healing than standing up for yourself, especially if you've been in a lifelong, in a lifelong pattern. Hold on, I have to get some water. Just a second. So let's say you've been in a lifelong pattern of always trying to do the right thing, always trying to stay, in alignment with kindness, and always doing the loving thing. And then people keep crossing your boundaries. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because, even though I don't want to go too much into the weaker aspects, but we do have this sesquisquare from Venus in sensitive, caring, nurturing Cancer that needs to learn to stand up for itself. Boy, do I know that one. I'm so grateful for my Pluto and Leo and my Venus and Leo that can go, hold on. But, as you age, you become more courageous. So standing up for yourself is prime territory here. I can see with these aspects. Guidance will continue to come in. Past life guidance and awareness will continue to come in to help you heal. With Pisces Neptune and Pisces trine the South Node in Scorpio there. And especially because we have this nice sextile here from Neptune to Pluto, right? We're really needing to, sometimes this can be standing up for other people who are abusing their power and authority. And this could be corporations, politicians, because remember, we're still in this, this backdrop of Saturn squaring the nodes in this T-square. Saturn at the apex. Saturn the man, government, rules, laws. But it's where we're mastering an area in our lives where we're not going to... Well, Aquarius to me, is rebels and wizards. They're thinking outside the box and they don't like it anymore. Now, as long as it's kind, as long as it's not, hurtful, we're going to be okay. But it's the I'm not taking it anymore type of energy. And then because the sun and Mercury, well, wait, hold on, 10, no, it's actually just Mercury here that's in this exact square over here to Mars. Mercury to Mars, those are fighting words, okay? Let's add Uranus in the mix, and it's unpredictable, like, whoa, I heard on the news this morning that, it's still morning, I just heard on the news that, Biden came down with COVID. And I immediately remembered that he has a Taurus moon. Turns out it's at 0 degrees Taurus, and I looked at his chart. I think everything's going to be fine, but he did have, contacts with Mercury. Mercury rules the lungs. too much traveling. So anyway, this important piece is what I've been talking about for quite some time, and I'm going to do a separate video on this through the houses for you guys, but guys and gals, I should say. Yeah, and we've got that backdrop there. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just talk about it all and get it over with, and then I'll go on to the moons. The moon traveling through the signs. So Mars Uranus is heating up, unpredictable avenues of needs for safety. We're squaring Saturn in the nodes is happening until November, till mid-November. It's going to tighten up. This orb is going to tighten up between this pattern from September through the end. I think it's like mid-September through the end of October. Saturn retrograde will stay in that mix there. So here we are, still remembering. This is about: are we getting our lessons? Right? Are we happy with what we've invested in? Are we mastering some area of our life? Like, where does Saturn land in your natal chart? What house? And what house is transiting Saturn in? Right? Do you have a Capricorn ascendant and Saturn rules your chart? Right? It depends on your natal chart. But wherever transiting Saturn, wherever Saturn is at 23 degrees of Aquarius, you will be mastering that area of your life. You will be working to manifest, to get your lessons, to open up to, in Aquarius, thinking outside the box. And with this Mars connection now with Uranus and the North Node, it's like we want instant connection. And we can get that through meditation and dream time and being connected to nature, because, we've got Taurus here, Pluto's in Capricorn. It's, a lot of grounding energy. And with Uranus and Mars here, Uranus conjunct the North Node, we are going to have a lot of aha moments around which way to go, which direction to go in life. And we're going to be bringing along the wisdom of the past, like I keep saying every week. And Saturn's going to continue squaring the North Node here until December, till the end of the year. So that's an important piece of information there. So you're going in a direction. You're valuing more of yourself than ever before. You're valuing your own personal ability to create abundance and grace and ease and bliss and happiness, and most of all, safety in your life. Mars doesn't like being patient. Taurus wants safety now and always. And squaring Saturn, that's that tension field where what are we doing? How are we thinking outside the box to be as self-responsible as possible? What structures are we creating? Are we figuring out everything that we want and how to make changes to get what we want and bring along the wisdom of the past? And yeah, and this nodal polarity going on here, Taurus to Scorpio, we're going to have that for another whole year going on. I checked that out, and it's I remember it's like July of 2023. So we have another whole year of this, and so we're in those realms, right? With Taurus, and trusting your heart, trusting your intuition, with Leo in the mix, and with Scorpio and Pisces here, trusting your intuition, trusting your guidance, trusting your spirit guides, trusting what comes through in dream time. As if you're asking questions about what do I do about this or that, and you get guidance in dream time, that's fantastic. And you have to go with it, right? Now, timing and how much money things cost, that's always a bit of a challenge, but the direction to go in your life, your guides will always nudge you, in a specific direction, and the guidance should be consistent. You should get the same, you should get repeated messages. Now, if you're not listening, they might stop. I'm not sure about if they'll keep going. But we have, with all these patterns here, we have connections with kindred spirits, with our like-minded soul buddies, right? And sometimes it might be just talking to each other and saying, oh man, I feel so much energy in my body, it's hard to even control it. And we're all talking about, we have to do a lot of breathing and grounding exercises and get our exercise in, whatever way, works best for you, so that we can release the tension, because we've got a tension field going on here. And there's the need for release so that we can continue to stay grounded. If the worst way we could use the energy is to be up in our heads spinning around. So the guidance I got about all of this week as I was tuning into the charts has to do with being careful about too much social media, because of that need for quick connection to feel better, and the need to go inward and connect with your spirit guide, your spirit self, because everything is inside of you, right? I mean, you are in deep connection with your spirit guides, and you have all that same essence inside of you that they have. They're just not, they're not here in duality like we are. So we do need their help and their support. But you have everything inside of you, and you need to remember that. So other aspects can be with Neptune here is like, Neptune and Pisces, like maybe we're caring for others who aren't able, to care for themselves, and we're understanding more and more about what we need. And we might need like a support group or someone to help us, care for ourselves. So it's about, can be self-care here with Venus. We've got nice connections going on, and this will continue. This Venus in Cancer will continue to support us, even getting through this tighter conjunction. But you can see how, we're within a 5-degree orb, and by the 31st, it's right there. 18, 18, and 18, because the nodes go backwards, right? And Uranus will go retrograde. I think it's the 24th, I have it written down somewhere. Yeah, I think it's August 24th. Mars, later on, will move past, but I think by like August 15th, Mars is even out of Taurus. So this is just this, for 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to really be feeling this. But this build-up, the most important thing to get about all of this, and any of these outer planetary transpersonal planets, the transits, we always feel the approaching energy stronger than when it actually, when it happens, it's like right there. But we've been feeling it. And then after it crosses over, so after Mars crosses over Uranus in the North Node, it's going to be like, whoo, right? You remember, it's like, Mars doesn't want to be patient, but it has to be in Taurus, because Taurus is making us slow down. And I think that this is part of this surprising. Uranus can be surprising. And we're still in COVID territory, right? But we've got a surprising increase. Yeah, Mars is an increase. Uranus is surprising. And COVID within, Scorpio terms, it's like it's not done till it's done. So, yeah. So just, take good care of yourselves, please. Let's see, what else? I think that's good for today. That's good for today. And that's probably not so bad for the weekly overview, because I'll go over it again when I do I'm going to do that video for you and take this through all the houses, so that, and I won't pay attention to the other stuff. We'll just focus on this polarity that's going on, because it's really important. Uranus is, it stays in one sign for 7 years. Hold on, let's make some room over here on my desk. Okay, so Monday comes along, and you can see that with the moon here, we have an inconjunct, so the need for adjustment to Pluto, right? So the moon in Gemini has gathered some information, and so this might be about the hearing tonight. I'm doing this on Thursday, the 21st, and we'll have another hearing tonight. So this might be some adjustments to authority base, people in power, government. Remember, we still have all this backdrop that, I just went over. Everything else is staying the same. I'm just going to focus on the moon now. But the moon in Gemini, it's like the moon picked up something. The moon illuminates. It can be a bit of a spotlight, like the sun, not as bright, but between the two. And we definitely have that connection here with Mercury. It's only Mercury. It's not the sun. Right there to the moon. So information that's being expressed. And it needs to be expressed because we've got that friction there. And this is, like I was saying before, gathering facts, gathering data, and disseminating information. We're learning, making connections, and disseminating information. Yeah. And then I do have to name this little puppy here. Saturn semi-square, Jupiter. Now these are, these weaker aspects, we only do like a 0 to 3 degree orb at the most. This one's like a 1 to 1.5, 2 tops degree orb that we talk about. Otherwise, we just don't mess with it. But with Saturn and Jupiter, these are the two builders of the zodiac. Aries and Aquarius don't necessarily get along too well. There's friction between the two. Aries wants to move forward and be present, and it's like I'm going my way. Aquarius energy might want to take it all in and try and figure things out before it moves. And Jupiter and Aries is like, let's just go. I can see the right way to go. But if you combine these two in the most beautiful way, this is about fighting for human rights. Like I was saying before, the rebels and the wizards, all right? As long as no one gets hurt. Yeah, and then of course Saturn's in that configuration T-square like I was talking about, where it's, it's all about new laws, new rules that need to be created, human rights. We need codified laws, even not just new laws. We need the law. We need new laws that are codified, and we need the old laws codified, and then we need enforcement of the laws for equality, right? And to preserve for self-preservation, for safety. So we're talking gun rights, all of that. Yeah. Okay, so let me, so an adjustment here, action here. Yeah, and it's going to have to do, if you're not into politics at all, and you don't care about politics at all, this will still be an adjustment to your own authority, and it could be both, most likely is both, an adjustment to the ability for you to manifest what you want, because now you have some new information, some new data, and some new communications that have come through. You've questioned things while the moon was in Gemini, and now because it's at 27 degrees, now you know exactly what's going on, who has control, and maybe you like that or maybe you don't, right? And then you'll make your adjustments accordingly. And with Mercury trine, we still have, this whole triple trine going on here between Chiron, Jupiter, all of this together, right? It's still happening. So again, it's about standing up for yourself, and the courage is there. Yeah, so all the other aspects are the same. Okay, so Tuesday, 5 a.m. Pacific, the moon is conjunct Venus in Cancer, as you can see right here. And we have, yeah, so there's a lot of like real need for nurturing and self-care and sensitivities, and opening up to your psychic abilities, trusting your intuition, and it's squaring both Jupiter and Chiron. There's healing, there's a real healing dynamic here. This is cardinal energy that wants to move forward, sometimes takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Cancer can tend to go side to side. Between the two, you'll get it done, whatever it is, however long it takes. And the energy for the entire day supports it, because the moon's going to bump up against Venus and then at some point cross over the other side. And you combine these two. Venus is about unity consciousness. Venus has everything to do with trying to figure out what you really, really want. It's all about values. And it helps to focus into feeling safe and secure with and it's everything to do with the home and family, taking care of your kids in Cancer. So safety, security, you're going to be feeling into that. You're going to be, I would say, acting and working on ways that you can, where you can bring something into a realm of, feeling, okay, I got this. I feel like I'm done. Or I feel better about being more safe. Sometimes, now Venus, is like, can be art projects, beautiful things. So this could be working on stuff around the house to make it more beautiful. It could be a lot of energy to work around the house and take care of kids. If you're traveling, I would think you're having fun. Cancer energy is very playful, and Aries energy can be very enthusiastic, right? And we're still having the Sun opposite Pluto. Everything I said in the beginning is still the same. Same with Mercury, all the trines. The only thing that's different today is Mercury. Oh, it's not the only thing that's different, but the thing that's different with Mercury is that it's squaring the South Node. So there's some talking to about the past, right? There's some thinking about inner communication, heart-centered communication about the past. And it might have to do with needing to forgive and release and let go with the South Node in Scorpio. And Mercury in Leo can go either way. It can be heart-centered, opening, loving type of energy and consciousness, or it can be, no, I'm going my way and I'm done with that. If that's the case, do your best to forgive, because forgiving is a gift to yourself. It doesn't really have anything to do with the other person, right? But, with the Sun opposing Pluto, if you've been in any type of a relationship where, because relationships are mirrors, and we've got mirroring energy here. And if you've been in a relationship that hasn't been working, and you're not getting the love that you deserve, you're loving the best you can and it's not coming back to you, then it's time to walk away. And there could be talks about that today. And then if you're deciding to not walk away, because maybe you're in this dynamic, this Neptune here trining the South Node, where it's like, oh, I just, I stay in it until the wheels fall off kind of thing. And you're victimizing yourself. With this sextile to Pluto, there's a question going nowadays, now at this time. The planets are supporting us and asking, why? Why would I stick around, or why would I stay in a relationship that isn't meeting my needs? And if you're not, then you're questioning yourself, like, why am I staying? That's an important function in determining what's right for you. And like I said, sometimes it's about you being the person in authority, and you're a caregiver, right? And then this is about staying, because Scorpio is fixed energy, Taurus is fixed, right? Fixed water, fixed earth. And water and earth work really well together when you think about it. You know, think about like the banks of a river and then the water that can flow through it. Scorpio can get stagnant, though. We can get into stagnant energy with any of the water signs. So it's good to have this fiery movement here to Leo. Okay, so let's see. That's it as far as the challenges to the moon for the day. Just take good care of yourself. Oh, you know what? I should have... Hold on. We need to talk about this for a second. So there's 14 degrees. Mercury here is exactly square Mars. So again, fighting words. And it's bringing in, because this is conjunct with, it's like we have this whole stellium here to Mercury. So, right, because you can see this triple square going on here, right, to Mercury. So again, I'm feeling like news dumps. I'm feeling like knowing what people said or didn't say, errors and omissions, things like that, and whether or not there were outright lies from the past to get what they wanted, right? Yeah. Eventually, the truth always comes out. Now, on a personal level, this could be having those challenging conversations with people who are not heart-centered, and you're wanting to stay in your heart with them, but you just keep hurting. It keeps hurting your heart. And at some point, you're going to choose to go for more. With Mars in Taurus, it might take you some time, but at some point you're going to go, all right, I'm done. I'm done. And you're not done till you're done, so take your time if you need to, but then, you know, if there's any abuse going on, don't stick around for that. Okay, so with this one for Wednesday, I shifted it up to noontime because of the square here to Mercury, South Node, all that's still there, but what you can see here, and I don't know, maybe it's here too. Yeah, it's there too. It is. So this is actually starting earlier, this grand square. Looks like my natal chart, but just different planets involved. So Mercury squaring the node, the South Node and the North Node, the Stellium and Taurus here, right? But it's also, Mercury's also opposing Saturn. Maybe that's what's different. Yeah, that's what's different. We didn't have that opposition yesterday. That's the reason. I couldn't remember exactly why I ran it at 12. I was trying to get something at an exact, and I'm guessing it was this opposition here, because I can't remember. So much has happened since yesterday when I ran these charts. Or not yesterday, actually, the day before. Anywho, that's a grand square right there, right? And Mercury's at one end. That's really strongly focused in on. And then Saturn at the other. This is going to stay. This, this opposition here that I've been talking about, that lead up, this is the new thing to talk about here. And Mercury is going to move quickly. So here's the backdrop of the, or this is the backdrop to this. So what this is, of course, is Mars conjunct Uranus, conjunct the North Node, opposing the South Node. The nodes always oppose each other. We're working within that balance of of bodily autonomy, reproductive rights for women. That's the, Taurus, Scorpio axis. Not wanting control. Pluto is opposing the moon. That was the other reason why I ran it at noontime. So this is what you're getting up in the morning, and this is what's building. This is the tension that's building. So again, women's rights. So maybe we have something that goes into law, because with Saturn here, there could be something that is shifted. And then we have, look at that in conjunct to the moon as well. Saturn in conjunct the moon. Because the moon in Cancer is all about honoring everything that's sacred. It has to do with family. It has to do with the feminine. It has to do with gestation, growing, babies, right? And it's also trining the south node. The moon is trining the south node today. This might be a really big day. So Wednesday, July 27th might be a really big day for something that is illuminated, and that could be healing from the past, to help heal the past, to bring things back together with Roe v. Wade in some way. Besides, we're going to have to, definitely we all have to vote, but they've created that need. This is going to be the thing that takes the GOP down. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back, because women are not livestock, and we don't deserve to have anyone controlling, Pluto controlling our reproductive rights. Right? It's just like Joe Biden would say, malarkey. And it's not just that. Everybody wants to make their own healthcare decisions, and it's also same-sex marriage, right? Can you imagine not being able to see your partner in the hospital because you're not married and you're not a family member? You know what I mean? Or help take care of their things bring you things in the hospital and take care. It's ridiculous the way that the Scrotus is trying to get us going in a certain direction and keep us there. It's like, no, we're not doing that. Okay, so Mercury in trine to Jupiter is another healing aspect here. Okay, look at that, 16 to Leo. This is an exact trine here, and I'm going to bring in Jupiter too, because it has this trine here to the moon. So Mercury and the moon are combining here with the moon, Jupiter, Chiron. This is standing up for your right to exist just as you are, without any interference from the government, making your healthcare decisions. The government does not need to be in our bodily processes at all, in any way, shape, or form. And this is the courage to fight that. This is the power of the feminine, and the power of the family, the power of the divine masculine that supports the feminine as well. We've got all of that here. Now, we do also have this square from Venus to this conjunction here to Jupiter and Chiron. So again, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just that it has gotten more. It's strong. It's much stronger. It has grown in strength. Now remember, squares are challenges that turn into strengths. And that's what I see happening here. I really do feel this is the power of women, the power of family, the power of the nurturing professions such as OBGYN and anyone else that helps protect women. We've got going on here, protection of the feminine. Jupiter, protection of the feminine. The courage to protect the feminine and the family. This is perfect. Okay, all the other aspects are the same. I'm going to go ahead and move on. And for Thursday, I had to go to 10:55 a.m. to get our Leo New Moon. Now, Leo is, I would say, the most courageous sign of the zodiac. And it has the power of the sun with this new moon. Look at that, right? I mean, yeah, Mercury's still opposing Saturn here. We're still fighting with the man, right? But now I'm thinking that we have a whole lot more. I'm thinking we have a whole lot more strength with this new moon, because it's trining. We've got a lot of energy here. Wow. To Jupiter and Chiron. So everything I just spoke to you about for yesterday, we have it today much more strongly. The sun tends to put a spotlight on an issue, and with the moon, we've got the feminine rising. This is strength. It's 5 degrees. If you're just listening and not watching, the new moon is at 5 degrees Leo, 5 degrees 38 minutes. So wherever that lands in your chart, that's where you can set your intentions. And maybe by the time you get to the full moon in Aquarius, I can't remember the date. I wrote it down somewhere. I think it's in my kitchen. But it's coming up. Is it the 11th? Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, maybe by the time we get to the full moon in Aquarius, we'll have some big breakthrough. There's that possibility, especially because at some point it'll connect up here with Saturn, right? A full moon on Saturn. It's like a blazing spotlight on the government and what's really going on. Yeah. And of course, we have all these abuses of power, like the Secret Service deleting texts. I mean, they didn't lose them. We know what happened. They've been in cahoots before, and they continue to have those problems. So we still have the Grand Trine going on here. Well, this square to Saturn, that T-square, that's just the backdrop we've got going on until November 16th, 15th, somewhere in there. And then maybe longer until it gets out of the shadow. But this square here to the nodes, for Mercury, this is temporary. Mercury moves pretty quickly. But this is bringing something to a critical point. Mercury's a messenger, and in Leo, it's going to show... I'm thinking it's going to show people, personally, it could show us where you can shine your light the best, but you might have struggles in that department at first, but it'll turn into a strength later. It could be struggles to open your heart and let go of your head, let go of the chatter. We have this beautiful sextile here from Mars. Oops, oh, come on. From Mars to the South Node, the aspect of the architect here, the lever law that can open up some doors from the wisdom of the past and then towards, okay, which way do I want to go, kind of thing, right? And with Uranus involved in the North Node, it can definitely be something a little surprising, and it's like at some point the gate opens, and I'm thinking that this is messages. Mercury, the messenger, that gets the message from the heart. If you could sit and be quiet, take a lot of slow, deep breaths and drop down into your body. Open up your heart. If you have trouble feeling the state of love, think of something that you do love, one of your pets or anything in nature, or the people in your life that you love. And basically, you can have a communication, a beautiful communication with your divine masculine and feminine within, where your head, heart, thinking, apparatus and body are all one. This can be really beautiful. And then that can definitely help you manifest what you're really going after. Now, of course, with Neptune here in Pisces and this sextile here to Pluto, I've spoken about it before, but what I want to talk about now is I'm thinking that this will be really helpful for any artist that is trying to bring up more awareness as to the times that we're dealing with. So we're not safe until we have gun control. That's the polarity going on here with Taurus and Scorpio. We need the preservation of same-sex marriages. Those laws are at a crisis point with Scorpio. We need new laws and the enforcement of laws to protect people's equality here. Humanity's just that ability to be okay with everyone being different and unique. Just let them be instead of judging that they're supposed to be a certain way. If they're here and they're alive, and these are organisms on Earth too, it's like, although COVID, and you guys know I have my issues with skeeters. But for the most part, and especially when it comes to all human beings, if they're here, there's a good reason for it. And this is an equal opportunity planet where everyone gets to incarnate and work through whatever they need to work through. And if we're not honoring, Gaia, right, with the nodes in with the node in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn, if we're not honoring Earth, then we're not going to make it. So we're at this crisis point. This is a big piece of this, this here, this crisis. This is climate crisis right here. Scorpio can definitely be about crisis. Taurus can definitely be about the Earth. It's not just Mother issues, it's Mother Earth issues, it's Gaia issues. So, and it's like nothing is going to matter if we don't provide safety for our kids, right? Safety for our children, and get climate change under control. It's just nothing else is going to matter. So, excuse me, personally, with the new moon, whatever you can open your heart to, bring your passion into, bring your courage into, whatever you want to create, whatever your newfound sense of self-expression is, whatever you identify with, whatever aspects of your lives that you can bring yourself confidence into and move towards, go for it, because that's what the planets are supporting right now. Whatever new thing that you want to create. And of course, we still have this, Venus square. So Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Venus in Cancer is going to bring in the stability of Taurus and the joining of relationships, the bridging of relationships to nurture the family. And we have all that courage there with Jupiter and Chiron in Aries. Healing the place where people feel left out. People feel abandoned. People are going to move forward of their own accord anyway. Right? Okay, so let's go to Friday. And so Friday, July 29th, those aspects of course, that's the same. Everything is the same, except the moon is even tighter, in a much tighter orb to the nodes, and it's with fiery Mercury, or Mercury in a fire sign. Yeah, wow. Okay, so basically everything that I just said applies, of course, but now we we have the moon conjunct Mercury in Leo, so it's going to be more vocal. The message will be more vocal. If you are trying to put yourself out there in a new project, you might feel a little, like, oh, I'm not so sure yet. But I'm saying, go for it the best you can. If it's not actually putting yourself out there yet, take those steps every day to get yourself situated in the place where you are. If you're launching a new business, keep talking to your heart, keep talking to your creative spirit, keep communication open with your guides, your guardian angels, because it's already, just know that anything you're trying to create is already there in the spirit world. It's just your job to bring it down onto earth, and you're the only one that can do it, because it's for you, because it's you. Yeah, so combining the, Mercury and Leo. So of course, Mercury it's the planet of messages, but negotiations. It can find the patterns to go in a certain direction. It can, in Leo, I'm thinking that it has to do with, again, people being angry because of the square here, that they're not being recognized as a whole human being because of this opposition to Saturn and this other backdrop. Things are heating up. And there's a lot of love and courage, for this process, because the moon needs to attach to something, and with Leo, it's all about the heart and loving energy. The moon connects. The moon rules our tummies. The moon is about, digesting things. It's hot. This is summertime. It's hot everywhere. This is hot energy, hot fiery energy. There's heat here. This is climate crisis going on here. Drink a lot of water. Keep yourself really hydrated. And then your guidance system will be open. You'll be more intuitive. You'll be able to respond better. But this is, this need to nurture. The moon needs to nurture. Cancer needs to nurture. Self-care. Major self-care. Okay, so that's Friday. And I left it at noon to get this orb here. And then Saturday, what's going on Saturday? The moon's cooled down and it's in Virgo. Yeah, but Mercury's still in orb there, right? That's that square that we still have the grand square going on. All the aspects are the same. Venus, all the aspects are the same, except Venus has this nice sextile going on here. So here we are with opportunities. Sextiles are always opportunities to move forward. And we're moving, it's July 30th, the next day, that we're going to have 18 degrees conjunction here. And I'm going to do a separate video on that, and then maybe it'll be a little shorter for the week after, because I'll have covered those first couple of days. Or, me, I'll probably talk about it again. Just because you can't just leave things out that are so important. But this is women uniting. That's what's going on. I just heard women uniting for a common cause, for safety for their children and safety for themselves. And they're not taking it anymore from the past. Wow. Excellent. And then the sun is trining Jupiter. See that 8 degrees there, the 7 degrees here? That's a 1 degree orbit. It's approaching energy, so it's strong. This is major courageous energy here to move forward. We do have, Mercury's in that mix too. Let's see. Yeah, it's got to be to Chiron, right? 16, to 22. Yeah, Mercury trining Chiron. So we're easily talking about the things that we need to create, because we've been talking about it forever. But I'm feeling like it's going to have, because of the backdrop with Saturn squaring the nodes, needing to, create these new laws for humanity, for what's fair. And, you know, we want to create more tolerance in life, not less, right? I'm feeling like there's a culmination point, is what I just heard, a culmination. Oh, yeah, if I'd focus on the moon like I started. So with the moon here in Virgo, remember, Virgo's mutable energy. Virgo brings in something that creates order. It's my planet of sign of divine order. Mercury gathers. Mercury rules Virgo, but it's Virgo that like cuts the wheat from the chaff. Virgo organizes. Virgo, and it's why sometimes we can get caught up in like trying to be perfect because we can see a better way to do it, but then sometimes we run out of time. And we have this, with Virgo energy, we kind of have this fear of chaos, right? So, but after all we've been through with these transits and where we're headed with this, there's a big major breakthrough going on, albeit with a challenge here, with a square to Mercury, because, you know, I love that Mercury's in Leo right now. Because, like I said, these are the thoughts and communications and messages that will lead us. Even though there's a challenge, they'll lead us in the right direction. And whatever is being said, whomever is saying the things that are being said that aren't right, that don't jive with protecting women's rights, protecting families' rights, honoring all that is sacred, which is your own free will over your own body, and as to who you love and how you love, as long as it's consensual. Why would we want a governing body it mixed in with that, other than to protect it and say you're a human and you get to make your own choices, right? It needs to be a federal law. Right there. And federal laws that have been there in place for same-sex marriages before, they need to be codified. So this is the action, the definitive, discerning action that needs to be made. And that's all on the table for the end of getting through the end of the week. This little Seska square here, it can be some stubborn energy, but it's good energy because we need those details in order to move forward. And the moon will just continue to move forward. So, yeah, so that's it for this week. Thanks, you guys, for listening. And meanwhile, take good care. Okay, bye.